Hello. I don't know if anybody is going to join. Um, it's my very first live here, and I am Ligeia. Hello, and this is Ligeia. So I'm doing this, I guess, demo of what I'm learning to for a friend, uh, Jen. I had a request from her. I'm not a regular YouTuber or anything like that, or content creator, but recently I have been doing some things, and so Jen asked. I'm not quite too sure if she's here, if she'll be joining. Um, Hopefully she will, and if not, then this might be my shortest live stream ever. Um, but that's okay. All right. Well, my name is Ligeia, and like I said, this is my cat Ligeia, actually. And my real name is Rebecca, but I adopted my kitty's name. Um, she passed away a few years ago, back in 2021. She crossed the Rainbow Bridge, but she meant a lot to me, and so I took a class at my local art community center on pet portraiture and painting fur. Um, I paint on and off again, and so I'm still learning. I'm learning. I've been trying to do this painting side quests in my life I'm going to say for the last 10 years, maybe a little bit more, but they are side quests because I don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to painting. So there were a few instances that I went a few years without actually painting, but I'm going to say in the last 5 years, I have been consistently painting on the weekends, let's say Saturdays when my classes, whenever I sign up for a class at the community art community center. But in any case, I hope Jen is able to join. Um, but if not, that's okay. I'm gonna get started and hopefully she is able to join. And I don't know how far I'll go here because it is after 8 on a Saturday Central. And I got things to do tomorrow. Father's Day is tomorrow, and I'm gonna be uh, going out with my brother since he is a dad. Take him out for brunch. My niece will join, my sister will join, and then we shall call that event a day. And then I'm going to try to do a little bit of work that I should have done today, but I didn't because a whole lot of other things came around. And so while I yip yap, and hopefully Jen is able to hop on, I am going to pick out my colors here for my palette. And I think this was from maybe a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. So I think I'm just going to use another one. This I recently used, so I don't want to reactivate the paints, and this is not fully dry either. So let's flip the page. It is my paper palette, disposable palette. I know I should find something that is more environmentally friendly. Tried a butcher's tray. I've tried a stay wet palette. Um but I haven't really I don't like the sound of the butcher tray when you use a, what do you call this? A oh my god, I can't think today. But you get it. I don't like that sound. And then I the Stay Wet palette really makes my paints too liquidy. I use these type of paints, golden, and they're heavy body. But even on that Stay Wet palette, it's not so great. I don't like it. So recently I've been trying to use I guess a paint storage palette storage, and I think this one is gonna be might be a good solution so I don't waste and throw out my paints. I put these out earlier in the week. I think on Tuesday. Yes, because I was doing a little painting session, trying to fix a painting that I started. And somebody told me to try this out because I always feel so bad about throwing out paint. So I bought it. So let's see how well that goes. So I'm gonna pick out my palette. I'm gonna do a limited palette. So and then mix up the colors. I did do a few runs of a painting of this one and a few other that I tried out for that painting class that I took. Um, I'm gonna say in the winter. It was in the winter. And I liked using a limited palette, mix my own colors, but I don't remember what I used, so we're just gonna lay out a few colors over here. So this is lemon yellow. It is a lemony colored yellow. So I'm gonna squirt this out here just a little bit because, like I said, I feel bad about wasting paint. So maybe I'll put this to the side in case I need more. How about we use another type of yellow as well? I'm gonna use, should I use cadmium yellow, medium yellow? Let's try it out. So while I see if Jen is gonna join, let me do some chit-chatting here. So this is my very first live stream, and I have done a few YouTube videos. I guess my intention has been just because, and I've learned a lot from other art creators that I watch their channels, and I really learn a lot, pick up. There's only so much that you can pick up from watching. You got to do it. But there's been a lot of things I picked up pointers along the way to try out, and I think that helps you accelerate, I guess, a little bit in doing what you want to do. Of course, doesn't make you an expert, but I think it certainly, you know, saves you maybe a little bit of time in trying to figure things out. You still need to try it out, things, techniques, or whatever. And I guess my thought was when I did those few videos, I didn't publish everything because some of it was embarrassing. Um, was maybe somebody who's also learning can learn along the way as I'm learning. We stumble along together. I think that's great, isn't it? To learn along with others. And sometimes it's easier to connect with somebody who's also learning along with you than when you're watching an expert. I mean, don't get me wrong, you do need to. People that know their stuff is invaluable. But when I was trying to sometimes pick up things from people that know their their stuff, it's a little hard to follow along because you're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means or what you're referring to, but as you're going along, I think beginners, you kind of bump along on the same thing, and when you vocalize and share what's happening, it helps you out. Oh, hey, there's Jen. Hello, Jen. I'm so glad you joined. Um, oh no, I lost there we go. Okay, so like I said, this is for you, Jen, and I'm just blabbing away and picking out my colors, my palette, and then I'm gonna mix up the colors and see what comes out. So I'm doing a limited palette of yellow, red, and blue. So I'm picking out lemon yellow, cadmium, medium yellow, cadmium, red medium, and cadmium red light, which is this one that looks orangey. And then my blues, I'm gonna use some of these here that I um, put squeezed out from the tube, and I was saving them in this little palette, which I was saying it works really well to keep them. So I put these out on Tuesday, and they're still pretty fresh. And they, I think this will keep, and it won't make me feel so bad about squeezing out paint from the tube and then throwing it out, right? Because supplies are expensive, right? These are golden, and you know it's in this economy, right? We're all trying to save. So anyway, so this is where I'm going to use my blue. So that's a phthalo ultramarine. I think this is primary or cerulean, one of those. And then this is ultraviolet. This is not ultraviolet. Yeah, this is ultramarine violet, I think. And then some Naples yellow, and then titanium white. Um, I was working on a painting for skies. So these are the colors I use for my skies. You'd be surprised, a little yellow into your paint that you're mixing up with the blues makes it just slightly greener, but it's hard to describe, but it does give you that light blue in the sky. I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but there you go. Anyway, so I don't know how this is gonna work, Jen. This is I did some prepping before. I'm actually using this book that I bought that was my intention to paint in it. I bought it last year. It's a 10 by 10, but I have to prep the pages so that, you know, they don't bleed out through to the other page. And that's what I was doing a little bit earlier. So this is an experiment I'm going to do. I'm using blue as my underpainting because blue and orange on the color wheel are opposite each other, and so they're complementary colors. And even though we're gonna cover the blue and in the end you won't see it, it's supposed to let the I guess some type of blue, right, reflect out, and it's supposed to make your colors more vibrant. So we'll see. I've never done a blue underpainting before, so it's an experiment. But since brown is close to orange, my logic is that it'll work or something, and then that'll be that, right? So I did put this because I like borders. So we'll take that off when I'm done. So Jen, I don't know how long I'm gonna last on this because this is my first live stream and I forgot to charge my phone. I already have the charger on, but I don't know if it'll die. So if it dies in the middle, you know why my phone died. And tomorrow is Father's Day too, so I'm gonna be um taking my brother out for brunch with his with my niece, his daughter, and my sister. So so maybe an hour and a half. Let's see how far I get. But anyways, let me stop yip yapping here, and let me scoop out a little bit of colors from this so I don't squeeze anything more out and we use this up. So again, this is going to be my limited palette. That's phthalo blue. I'm going to clean this up so I don't um, muddy up. And then I'm going to scoop out some ultramarine. Uh, okay, there we go. Oh yeah, this little contraption is really gonna help me keep paint longer and not throw things out. Here, I am gonna need white, so I better scoop out some of that white. And so I might as well scoop out everything. I'm gonna put it over here on the side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, Jen, is I'm gonna do a really rough sketch here, probably up to here. I think will fit here in this area. So it'll be, the focus will be in this. And for the interest of time, I'm not going to try to do it perfect. Normally I would try to draw a grid, or I'd take my time, right, and maybe doing, not in pencil, but doing a lot of looking and measuring. But that could take some time, and that's kind of boring. So we're just going to do this really quick and get to the part of it um, where we can see painting the fur, right? My approach, and see how it turns out. All right, let me take a sip of my Coke Zero. Great. Okay, so since it's blue, I am going to use blue to sketch it out. I do prefer to do my outline with paint, because I learned about myself that I try to get too perfectionist when I'm doing it with a pencil. And then I get frustrated when it doesn't come out right like I wanted to, because I spend too much time with the details. So my instructor has taught me to, or trying to make me, let go. So if you hear that, I'm actually wetting my paintbrush to make the paint a little bit more liquidy, more fluid and thin. And that's where I'm gonna go. Okay, so um all right, I'm not gonna spend the time trying to measure things out, right? Like you would, like, here, let me see. Well, maybe I will, just for getting some placements in place. So I'm gonna use, now that my brush is nice and wet, I am going to use this color, which is the phthalo blue. I'm gonna put it up over here so you can see. See, it's getting liquidy, so it needs a little bit more liquid to make it runnier. And it's gonna be like ink. And I'm not gonna get too hung up about perfection. Some things I may have to redo, but that's okay, because then we're gonna put a paint on top. All right, so since this would ideally, I guess I could have traced it or something, right? It's gonna fit perfectly in here. So maybe up to here and maybe up over here, right? That's where she's gonna go. All right, so how about we do this? So cats usually have a triangular face. I know she's really fluffy, so it's kind of hard to see that, but with if you take a close look at cats, their faces are kind of like they're a triangle, an inverted triangle, right? So that's what I'm gonna sketch out really loosely here, and and then see how that goes, knowing that it'll be here, and then there'll be some type of poofiness here, right? And then of course her body is kind of like an S shape. So that's what we're gonna do first is I'm probably gonna make some marks up here so I don't go above. So I'm gonna make a mark here. So that'll be this right here. So I don't go past it. Oh, maybe I do need to do it a little bit lower. Well, it's still wet enough so I can remove it. So I'm gonna put it maybe a little bit lower right here. So that's that fur up over here, and then up over here, little dots for those for the ears. And they're gonna, well, before I mic those, let me do the her triangular face. So right here. So there's gonna be some space before I get to there. So I'll say maybe over here. And like I said, if it doesn't come out perfect, we're gonna be painting over it. So no biggie. We can fix it as we go along the way. So since her face is turned, so I think this portion is more like this here. All right, I gotta stop. Right there, there's her shape right up over here. Okay, and then we're going to do her ear. Is one of them is turned this way, right? So, maybe I did that mark too far up. Okay, that's all right. That's okay. We're just trying to get the shapes. That's all. We're just trying to make the placements. That's it, right? And so, right, that's her ear right there. And then this one is going to go over here like that. Let me see, because they're supposed to be the same height. Like that. Maybe her face is going to go a little bit more this way, right? And then that's where this little, it's not really a hump, right? Because we're looking at her from above. I took the picture from above. So that's why she looks like that. And then, let's do this here, right? Okay. Actually, this ear goes up above more, right? Like this. All right, that's okay. We're just trying to get those marks. So this comes out this way because that's her fur. Okay, that's all right. We're not gonna get hung up on this. And then, but this right here, this actually goes actually in like this, right? And then this, I'm trying to do this. Oops, that's okay. I got printouts, plenty of printouts. I can always do another printout. I may have done this too much bigger than it's right here, right here. Then she really is, right? She goes like this and then kind of like a dip. Yeah, I think I did her a little bit bigger. And then she's got this S here, right? Like right around here, right? That's where it starts here. And then it goes like this, right? Uh, and then, yeah, like that. hope you can see it, Jen. It's might be a little hard to see. Okay, and then that's as far, right? Because then she goes off the page. All right, that's okay. That's why we're doing this in this sketchbook, because it's going to be my practice book, and I think it'll be a lot cheaper than using canvases. Canvases can be expensive, even the cheapy ones. And then over here, she's got her little paw right there, right? So I'm just gonna make the little mark right here just so that I don't forget. That's her paw right there. Now I'm gonna maybe use a little bit more so that I can see them. Oh yeah, there you go. The other one was a little too watery. Okay, there we go. Now you can see it better. And me too, because I couldn't really see it. All right. Okay. So see, John, with acrylic is just about making your markings. And I don't know, I think you like doing yours in, I think I saw yours are primarily, you do your pictures, your drawings primarily in I've seen you use marker and color pencils, is that right? So I don't have a whole lot of experience drawing like you, and then using the markers. You blend those markers really well. um I've never tried other than coloring, books. But even you, when you do your coloring books, the adult coloring books, I see that you blend your markers and color pencils pretty good. Um, but I don't have experience doing that. Um, so I could learn from you, Jen. Okay, so I think we have her shape, right? Blocking them out, right? Like I said, it's not going to be perfect. And because acrylic painting, oh, colored pencils and markers, yeah, those are, that's pretty good. I wouldn't know how to approach color markers or color pencils, even though I do have colored pencils. um yeah, I rarely ever use them, um other than to maybe put a little bit of color one area and that's it. But you do your blending with your color pencils. um so now that I have this, right, I'm going to put in her eyes here, right? So here's the space between the bottom of her ear to the top of her eye, right? And I got to keep this in mind here. So I think it goes somewhere, maybe right here. So I'm just going to put a little line. I just need to put the, and then she's got a line, and then here, right? Like the classic, I don't know, I guess cat eyes, right? Because then they like straight and then bloop, straight and bloop for the eyes. So here I'm going to take note that this and this line up, and this line up. So the base of this to the top of her eye, right, the corner, and then here to here, right? So that's where how big those eyes are going to be. And then this one doesn't extend all the way to the end. It just goes to there. So that's where I'm going to keep it, right? So let me do that here. And then down over here. Like I said, it's okay if we mess up. Because acrylics dry up quickly in minutes, and not like oil paints. And So you can leave it alone, and then work in another area, and then you can come back to it and cover it up, put another layer. So those eyes might be a little bit too small, but like I said, we're just putting my marks. I'm trying to get them okay because, you know, the placement is important. Placement, right? The details of it will come along as you layer them. Um, this one is a little tricky here because it does go like, it goes like, right? It dips a little. Maybe I need some water here. Let me, it's too thick. And so your placement is important, and the size. So then you can, and then here, right? Like, see, there's like a good amount of space. Maybe it's a little bit lower right here, her nose. I'm just gonna put just another little triangle here, right? Just to mark it. And then I'll come in with some details, right? And then I think then this here is a little shorter, or it's getting lost in between here, really, really dark. So I'm just gonna make it up as I go along, right? It doesn't have my style of painting isn't very it's realistic, but I don't go for like photography like it's a picture realistic, right? So I'll make things up. I'll fill in the blanks as I move along. So I think that's where, and then I'm just gonna use this color to block in now the dark colors, dark areas, so I know where, where my darks are gonna be at. Oops, did I? Yeah, here we go. So here's where I'm just gonna make things up here. It doesn't have to be perfect, just so I know where things are gonna be, right? I think it goes more like this. Right. And then up over here. Thanks. Thanks, Jen. Uh the cat eyes are, I think they are tricky, right? My What I tend to do, and I see it, is I tend to make the eyes bigger than what they are in my paintings of, pets and and people too. I notice that they come out bigger than what they are, and I don't know if it's just my subconscious saying, "Oh, I want to do it," because it doesn't have to be. Everybody has their own style, and I think you have your own style, Jen. I've seen it in your drawings, and so why try to fight it, right? That's If that's my style, that's my style. I'm still trying to find my style. Okay, so now I'm gonna block out the dark areas, right? And this is where I'm probably gonna start mimicking maybe some like fur, right? So I'm gonna be conscious of the direction that I'm putting my paint, right? So over here, I'm doing this, and then I'm gonna go like this, right, to show the 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 fur, right? So she's got she's got dark streak that goes there. I kind of put in, she's got a white there, right? So I better stop, right? And then she's got a dark spot here. And then she's got over here. And then look, this ear kind of goes like this and then curves in just a little bit. So that's what I'm going to start looking at, right? And making, adjustments, corrections as I move along. Um, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing this because this can be kind of boring for somebody to watch, right? I think I like doing this parts. It's I don't know when you draw, Jen, how like in what state of mind it puts you, but for me, when I'm doing these kind of things, it's kind of meditative. Like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if you experience the same thing. I'm gonna get a little bit more paint before it gets too thick. Once I start putting it thick, then it takes a while, a little longer to dry. And I want, because this is my underpainting. Yeah, I'm doing too much over here. I'm trying to do too much now. Um, and I want it to dry quick. So the thinner it is, the quicker it dries, right? So I know it's looking a little weird right now, but I'm gonna be covering this as I move along and I paint, right? And then over here, she's got more darkness. Um, and then this is lighter. Let me see. And then over here, the tips, right, is where we see that it's dark. So let me put that over here. I'm actually probably gonna start changing my brush because this is just, you know, that's all that I can really do, right? Is these type of marks or brush strokes. Let me see. Then she's got here. And my favorite brushes are, and then it kind of looks like it goes like this, right? Is Filberts. And then this I think is a little sharper. So I'm gonna carve that in there. And like she's in a fluffy blanket. She does, doesn't she? Um, Once I start getting into painting the fur, it's gonna look like she's in a blanket. But she did love getting into blankets, so I maybe that's good, right? Anyways, let me put this here, right? I think I gotta switch now. Um, Let me see. This is darker. There's maybe dark over here, and maybe dark over this, like this. And then she's got a dark mark over here. And a little go. See, now I'm getting into the details and I'm not there yet. So let me then she's got something like a long like this, right? Okay. All right. Okay, Rebecca. Let's not dwell too much. And then she's got, and then something a little bit dark up over here, right? Now this picture isn't the best because the printer quality wasn't all that great. But if I look at it on the iPad or on the phone, then I can do I'll be able to look at her details a little bit closer, um, and start doing that. So she's got this whiteness here, and this is dark. So I'm gonna, and then this, her nose is dark. Like this is always very dark. When I first found her, or she found me from afar, I thought this little spot, that this was an injury, like it was a scar, because it was so white on her face that I'm like, oh no, she got into a fight and she had an injury. But then when she followed me in to my home, then I realized that, oh no, it's just a white patchy fur. That's all. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is I am going to see, this is a little bit more. This is a little bit more down. Yeah, Jan. So when she found me, I used to go to school at night, and I would get home late, maybe 9:30 or 10 at night, and I would pass by this building that nobody lived in there. It wasn't abandoned; they were selling it, and it was overgrown. Um, outside with trees and grass and weeds when you pass by there, and it was very dark in that corner. And when she found me, well, when I walked past by that night, I heard a rustling sound, and I thought it was a rat. Because it was the fall, and so there were a lot of leaves that had fallen down. And let me do a little squirt here so my paints don't dry. Even though I don't have the heater on, or or the AC, but it is a dry day. So depending on that, could make your paints dry faster. So this is just a solution that keeps your paints from drying out a little bit longer. So that's what I put on there. But yeah, I thought she was a rat when I heard the leaves rustling, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw something move that was kind of the size of a rat, or I thought that's a big rat. And so I started running, and I heard it running after me. And then when it came to me, it circled around my legs as I was walking fast. And it was late at night, so what I saw was just a dark body, right, of an animal running between my feet, and I thought it was a rat, and I screamed. And I ran, and they ran after me, and not until I got under the street light by the building, then I realized that it was just a little kitty cat. She was so small. And I didn't take her in that first day. I It was 2 weeks before I made the decision. I'm like, oh, poor kitty. But I'm like, I don't know. I've never had a pet before. I don't know what to do with cats. And not until maybe the second week. So if I would see her outside, she would follow me. And so sometimes I would come home with some McDonald's. So I would feed her a fry and she would eat it, a French fry. And then after 2 weeks, then I'm like, oh, well, if she's still out there and if she follows me, then I'll take her in. And yeah, sure enough, that night she I'm gonna what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to mix some of this brownish orange. So this is not a really good picture, but I remember her colors really well. So this was very black, dark brown, almost black, not exactly. And then this was like very light cream color, right? Kind of like when you put cream in your coffee, a lot of cream, that's the was her color. And these were, brownish, reddish, and then, other variations of that brown. So that's what I'm going to try to do is mix some of that. So I'm going to start with probably putting down the medium color, right? Maybe this right here, this right here. And then I'll start layering, layering, layering. But I am going to switch to a different type of brush because I think this pointy one, the round one, isn't gonna help me get the shape of the fur. So I'm gonna use this type of brush right here. It's called a filbert. And it's very, very soft. And it's different than these, which are natural hog bristle. So it's actually hair from a hog. Um, but they're not, I'm not quite there yet with these. So I'm gonna start doing this with this type of very soft brush. But yeah, so she followed me inside the building, walked up the stairs to my door of my apartment then, and when I opened the door, she walked in and then she never left. So after that, we moved around a few more times before I finally ended up here. I bought this little condo because it's just me and the cats. I ended up having about three of them at one time. And so yeah, so here in this place where I am at, this was her last home, and it was her permanent home. We didn't move around anymore. Um, but she lived with me for hmm 12 years. 12 years she was with me. Okay, so I'm gonna mix first an orange and then a green because when you start mixing red and green together, it starts to shoot, I don't have that stored away. It starts making more of a closer of a brown color, right? Here, I'm sure you know when you're probably mixing or layering your markers or your color pencils, right? That you can change the colors of what you're doing. So I think I'm going to start first with this light red, cadmium light red, because I think it's closer to orange. and and if I try to do it with the red, it'll take me a little bit longer to get to that. So I'm going to bring some out here, and it's got cat hair. I have cat hair all over all the time. All right, so I'm going to start with this one. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this lemon yellow. I'm just going to clean this off so it doesn't contaminate. And I'm probably going to need a lot of it because I put too much of this one. So let me just do a mixing. I hope you can see. Um, you may not be able to see what I'm mixing here. Maybe if I move a little bit this way, hopefully, there we go, a little bit better. You can see my color palette. And if you want me to zoom in closer, let me know, Jen, and I'll bring the camera closer. Or if you want to look closer at something else, let me know. So that's what I'm going to do is just do some mixing until I get a nice orange. Didn't take too long, right? From this to this. But then again, it was already a light red according to the label. And I'm going to probably bring in the rest of my yellow here to make it a little lighter. I may need actually more. It's a little too on the red side, so let me pull these since I already have them here. That's why I didn't put away these tubes, because I knew I would need some. And typically I wouldn't do it that way because I wouldn't want to contaminate the tube, but I'm too lazy to put it there and then bring it over. Okay. What I think I may need to do is leave this because it's still a little too on the red side. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring some of that color into this yellow and get a closer orange. Maybe I still did too much. No, there we go. Cat hair. Yeah, that's a lot closer to an orange. That's very still red orange. This one is more orange. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna need to do, because it is dry, is I'm gonna need to I lost my stuff over there. Okay, I need to get some retarder. Yes, this one right here. So that my paints don't dry out so fast, I've mixed some retarder on in there, and that it's made for that purpose, right? So that they don't dry out that quick. Um, you know, it won't keep them forever, but at least they won't dry so quickly. And it's really annoying to have the color dry out quickly when you still need that color. And then you have to mix it all over again. So I'm going to mix this too so it doesn't dry out. I could spray it with that other spray stuff that I did, but then it just does on the cap, right? And as I begin to use it, then, it's exposed to the air and it starts to dry out. Right. But that's okay. All right. So I got my orange there. Now I'm going to do a green, and I think I'm going to use that blue. Should I use the lemon yellow or the cadmium yellow? Let me try the cad, because I'm going to use this phthalo blue, and phthalo blue is on the greener side than this ultramarine blue, which is on the redder blue side, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to use just a little bit because phthalo blue is so powerful. Oh yeah, I think I used too much. No, actually, that's a good green. Not too bad. Because if I use the ultramarine, it'll make a green, but it's more like it's more like a vegetation green than a green. And I could use green from the tube, but to make things go faster, but I like mixing my color here. It's not quite what I want it to be. Maybe I do need more. And then I really want to start painting the fur so you can see. Oh yeah, there we go. That's much better. Okay. So there's my green, and I'm going to put a little retarder so this one doesn't dry out so quick either. There we go. Okay. Now I am going to leave that alone. Um, all right. Now I'm going to start painting this, the middle brownish part, and then I'll start going back and forth with let's see how we do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my paintbrush just a little bit up over here on the side. If you can see, there's my jar of my little skull, which is, I got it at Michael's during Halloween. It glows in the dark. But anyways, okay. So now if I mix a little bit of this green into my orange, see how it's making it a little bit on the brown side. So let me grab a little bit more orange, right? Maybe I'm gonna grab a little bit of this red orange, make it a little bit closer. And if it's too bright, what I can do is maybe grab a little bit of this blue, just a little bit. Oh, it was too much, but that's all right. See how that's made it into a brown. I don't know if that's how you do with your um markers, you mix your stuff or your color pencils, or you just grab the colors but I'm sure must happen that when you put something on top, it changes that color. So I think what I'm gonna do is grab a little bit more of this here. It's a little bit too on the brownie side. Not quite there yet. What about if I grab a little bit, maybe this ultramarine blue? Let me see. Oops, I contaminated but that's all right. Aha, I think that's what I needed. All right, but like I said, we're going to be layering, so I'm not too worried about getting the exact color. I just need to start putting that. So I think I'm going to start with this here. And I'm not going to use my paintbrush flat like that. I'm going to use it to the side to start making those brush strokes so they look like uh like the fur. And then I start putting in dark and light, those strokes, and that's where we start getting that effect of fur. So I'm gonna start here. I guess I don't know why that's calling my name, and then maybe I'll do over here. So let me start doing this way. So and I'm not gonna be too concerned that I cover everything, because I'm gonna keep doing this with the different colors, right? So anything that you see in the space is going to be filled eventually. And can you see how that blue turned my brown into maybe a little bit of a different color because they're transparent? If I mix a little bit of white, it'll make it a little bit more opaque, and we won't see a lot of that blue anymore come out. Maybe that's what I need to do too. So you can see how these start coming out this way. So that's what I'm going to start to paint, right? And I'm going to press sometimes, and then sometimes I'm going to do it very lightly so that I can get those little flyaways. And if I need shorter ones, I can always bring out my brush. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think I should have painted the background first, because if I paint it, then it's gonna cover all this, and then I'm gonna have to bring them back out. So I think what I'll do is I'll just stay inside, and then once I paint that background, then I'll start doing the little flyaway first, right? So I think that's what I'm just gonna do is this, right? So uh and I'm sitting down, and usually when I paint, Jen, I'm standing up. Or I'm sitting in a stool, and then I stand up and come back and forth to take a look at, from afar, take a look at my painting. So I think this over here is this color right here. All right. And that's okay, because I'm going to be layering these colors, so it's going to be okay. All right. And it does take several layers until you start. And this is going to be now a little bit more orangey. Let me move this up, because I don't think you can see my palette very well. So see, oh look, if that orange with that blue makes it a little bit of brown, I don't have to work too hard at mixing my colors. Um, but we'll see. Okay, so maybe what I'm gonna do is grab a little bit of this yellow, just a tiny bit of that green, maybe just a little bit more to neutral. Oh yeah, see, now that's the color. That's the color that I want for here. But see how that blue under is peaking, is changing, because my colors are transparent, right? It kind of does the illusion of it's mixing them, right? Um, I'm gonna have to start mixing a little bit of white. Let me bring a little bit of white to make it a little bit more opaque. Um, yeah, see, now it's making it opaque. All right. All right. And then she's got a little white spot there, but then everything over there is dark. And then this up over here. So Jen, what are you working on lately? Are you doing any more new drawings? Any new projects? Actually, it's gotta go this way. And then maybe a little bit over here. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna see what you think, because I don't know what to do my background color. I don't want it to be this color because, right, that's kind of boring. And I'm not gonna try to draw or paint the carpet, because it was a rug. Um, so what color do you think I should do the background? Oh, I didn't see Beth's. Which girl did was it that you drew? Did you post it on your Instagram? I gotta check it out. What color should I do? Cause she's gonna be kind of brown. What would be a good color? Should I just do it like a lighter blue or a purplish? What do you think? I'm open for suggestions, Jen. Should I do Should I try or should I do a pink background? I don't know. Do I have pink? I don't think I have pink. What do you think, Jen? Should I just do it another type of blue? Maybe a lighter blue or a light purple? Like a pastel purple? Lilac? I have this dark purple. Hmm. Mm. Ooh, octopus, half ladies. Oh yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I did see that. All right. What if we do a light purple for the background? Ultramarine violet. I can mix ultramarine violet with with white. Let's see. Let's try it out, right? What is the worst that can happen? Well, the worst is that I won't like it and I can paint over it, right? Let me grab some of this white. And then we're going to put in some of this retarder so it doesn't dry out so quick. Oops. Whoops, just a little bit too much. And then we're going to grab just a little bit of this purple and we'll mix it in little by little. I don't know if you can see the purple. I don't think so. Let me move my camera so that you can see it. Well, well, they mix this. So this is the purple. Maybe it's a little too light, right? I need more purple. I'm thinking up ideas on how I'm gonna draw Jaws for this thing in this one group. Jaws, like the shark. I remember watching that movie with my mom. That was scary with that ginormous shark. They don't make horror movies like they used to like that. Whoops, you see my big old head right there. Let me move my head. Maybe I need a little bit more darker. Yeah, let's do a little bit. Maybe I need the entire purple to make a good purple. Darker? Yeah, I think so too. Darker, right? Yeah, it's too light. Let me grab a big chunk of purple. Maybe darker? Darker than this? Yeah. Yeah, I keep putting my big old head there. Maybe I should just grab the entirety. Oh yeah, probably the entire. Let's just bring the entire one in there. What I can do is I can always mix more. All right, there's the purple. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a painterly background. So I'm not gonna mix everything. It's just semi-mix. And I'm gonna be going with medium color, light color, really light color. So right, so on the background. So I don't care for, um, let me see which brush is a good one. Probably this one though, this one shorter one. So this is a hog bristle. So this is, or is this, sometimes some of them are fake, synthetic, which I think that's good, right? So, we don't have to take away from the little creatures. Okay, so I'm going to bring you back over here so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus it over here so that you can see a little bit closer what I'm going to be doing. All right. So I'm going to just put brush strokes there, right? So maybe I'm going to grab some of this and then a little bit of this. I know you can't see my palette, but here, let's do this. So then this way we got different types coming around. And yeah, I think I need like a clip to, yeah, see, now we gotta have to come in here and that's okay. That's why it's acrylic, so I'll be able to paint back those areas. Do you do this in your drawings, or with the markers, or with the color pencils, Jen, on backgrounds? I'm trying to remember. Or do you just leave it as white? Hey, turn this over because it's falling off. Okay. All right. So really the back, because I don't write, some have backgrounds, some don't have. Yeah, I guess it all depends on our mood, right? What do we want? Uh, so I'm gonna bring in some of this, but remember it's a painting and we're gonna be able to paint over it. So right back again. So, and this, by painting the background, it gives me the chance to make corrections, right, on the form if I think it's too big or something. I think this one, because this is going to be dark, so we need some light over here so that it contrasts better, right? um I know it looks crazy right now, but um there's an ugly process, right? I think, to anything before it starts looking better, right? It's just the beginning. Just the beginning. Plus, it's not a masterpiece, it's just a practice, right? That's the point of drawing. We keep drawing and we keep drawing and we keep painting, because otherwise, how do we get better, right? If we don't practice. And so I don't think we should get hung up about something doesn't look perfect or doesn't look a masterpiece immediately, right? What do you think? Should I make it lighter or darker? I think at this place I want it to be light because the bottom right here is going to be darker. And so when you have a dark against a light, it makes your darkers look darker and your lighters look lighter when they're like that. So I think that's what I want here, right? Especially here, she's got black, so I want this area a little bit lighter, this area a little bit lighter. Um, yeah, so that when we start putting in these dark areas, I don't have to I don't have to try very hard to make it look dark, right? Because that's the trick of the eye, that when you see something dark next to something light. And I learned that from my painting class, that that's what the masters in history, right? They do when they would paint a light next to a dark when they wanted to make the contrast bigger. And I'm not a master, but I can copy them. I can learn from their tricks. We could all learn from their tricks. So I think that's what I'm gonna do right here. So because I mixed some retardant into my paint, it's taking a little bit longer to dry. So I have a little bit more luxury to blend my paints on here, right? And it's not like oil paint, but you know what I mean. I don't I tried oil painting, but I think oil painting scares me because I don't know, I guess because you need to use solvents and they really do smell too. I don't like the smell of, not in an enclosed place. All right, I think my paint is starting to dry here, so now it's just pulling off. Okay, I have a I have a background that maybe we can come back to it and do some more, but at the moment I don't have to keep looking at that blue background and thinking that looks weird. But I think I do like that some of the blue is peeking through on that. And that's um that's the right of the painter. Mm-mm. So what are you drawing draws for, Jen? You belong to another group for for artists who draw? I think drawing is a very good skill, and I admire people who do that, right? Because you got to take a look at the details. Always look at the details. Okay, let's go back to the kitty cat. All right, I was doing. Oh, see, now they're drying. They're kind of. My colors have. Let me see. Let me try to give you a better. Sorry, Jen. That was me. That's what I get for trying to mess around with settings here. Okay. There you go. I'm trying to get you a better view so you can see what I'm doing. Do you want to see this picture too, or just this, or just the painting? Oh, movie of the month. Ooh. And so you guys draw then the theme, the movie of the whatever you guys want to associate with the movie? You want to see both? Okay, I'll leave them there. All right. Um, let me give you a better view up over here. Okay, I know you won't be able to see my entire palette, but that's I'll talk through it. Okay, some of this has already started to dry, so that is my fault. Let me do a little spritz of water. Keep them a little bit moist longer. I don't know if that'll work, but that's all right. It's just acrylic paint. So what type of other drawings have you done for the movies of the month? Who picks the movie? Sorry, Jen. I'm eating some Pringles, some Pringle chips. The host, she picked out the movie. And then do you guys watch the movie together or individually and then decide what to draw from it? Okay. I'm gonna start doing some of the dark ones. So I'm gonna usually I paint and mix my own black, but mixing paint takes up more time. And I feel like maybe I'm boring you and I better move it along. So I'm gonna look for my Payne's Gray. Where's my Payne's Gray? Here we go. It's already pre-mixed. And it's not black black, but I like this type of darker one. And that's where I'm gonna start maybe painting some of this, mix some of the orange to make a brown with the green, right? Orange and the green, and then put in some Payne's Gray to make it darker. And then let me put it over here so it doesn't, let me put it over here so it doesn't muck up all of my colors. All right, I'm running out of space, so let me move some of my tubes of paint out of the way. All right. All right, we'll put them on the floor. Oh well. Okay, so let's make again some of this brownish, and then we're gonna mix in some of the Payne's Gray to make it darker to start putting that, and then we're gonna start layering and layering so we get that type of fur type of stuff. All right, so we got this color. Why don't I just keep doing what I did, right? Let me bring in a little bit of hopefully my big old head is not in the way. Some of this green, we'll pull it out. I know maybe you can't really see. Let me do some of this. I'll keep that in mind for next time, that maybe I gotta do it, push it a little bit further so people can see what I'm mixing. So we got this. So now let me pull in a little bit of maybe let me raise it so you can see. So I'm gonna, this is my Payne's Gray. Now I'm going to start mixing it. See, now that's much darker. Let's do this. Let's do this here. Maybe grab some of this here. Oh yeah, see, much better. Okay. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, so it doesn't have to be exact because we are going to be layering. Okay, so now I'm going to start doing painting these dark areas here. So I'm going to keep doing it on the side so I can make those illusion of fur. And like I said, if I go over, that's okay because I'm going to be layering. So, and I'm trying to follow the direction of the fur, is what I'm trying to do. I drew a sample chart, but it was my practice. Yeah, sometimes you do need to do practice runs, right? To before you do your main one. Um, which I'm using this one, Jen, which I'm happy that you asked me to do this because I have been thinking about doing this one in a bigger um painting. So this is my practice. So I don't need it to be perfect. And then it's got like darks right here. And then right here. Um so it's good that we practice, right? So where do you do your where do you do your practice ones? Do you have a sketchbook too, or do you just use, you know, any type of paper that you have? How do you approach your practice? I'm always curious to see what how people do things. You know, maybe some things to, what am I trying to say? To take some of the things that other people do, right? To try them out. I think I'm either gonna draw the shark out again later tonight or tomorrow because I think I could do better on teeth and more other stuff. Yeah, sometimes we do need to do that, right? I think that's what most people that are not artists, right, like us, Jen, they think that a good artist or whatever is supposed to be a good artist, that they get it right the first time. And and we don't, right? We don't get it right the first time. It takes it takes practice, right? And so that's why I like watching people like Mary and who else do I watch where joins Mary's channel? I think Julie Parker comes to watch her too. Because right, because they we see their process and it doesn't always come out correct the first time or perfect. And I really appreciate it when Mary was showing. I don't know if you caught her live the other day where she was trying to draw the lady from that book that she has, right? To make her into a stamp. And she said herself too, hey, I think it didn't come out all right. But she's like, but it's mine, right? And I appreciate when I see other artists go through that. right? That I'm like, oh, they are supposed to be good, and they are good, and they also struggle, right? Oops, I think I lost her little foot here. Okay, let's put her back here. So I'm gonna have to put her little footy right here. All right, and then she's got other parts right up here. So you do better our teeth and some others. No, it's a sample page with other doodles. So you have pages for your doodles. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is she's kind of, and I remember, right? I know you can't see it very well, but she had kind of like a little M over here with this dark area, and that's what I'm trying to make. And so here, I'm gonna do this here. So I'm gonna do some stamping, stamping, stomp, stomp, stomps right here because I think that's how I can get that effect of what she has going on. And then she's got that little line over here. So I'm trying out new things that I haven't really done. So this stomping is the first I've ever done, and I don't think I'm liking it. So let me go back to my just my lines. Okay. So I'm gonna leave that spot alone, Jen, because it's halfway drying, and the more I put paint on, it's tacky, so it's just pulling off. So I'm gonna go over here on this area then, and then I'll come back over here and fix that mess that I made right there. So I'm gonna do these here. I'm gonna put the darks maybe a little bit more. Did need a little bit more orange, maybe a little bit more red, orange here. Okay. Now it's a little bit more red. And then I'm gonna do this right here. And now I'm gonna do more lines because she's got those little lines right there, right? And as I start doing those lines there, Jen, that's where we start making those effects of the illusion of painting that there's fur, right? Without having to go in and paint every little line. There are artists now that do that, right? But one, I don't have the patience, and two, I don't have the that type of talent to be painting those very hyper realistic um fur, right? So we're just gonna pretend. Maybe one day I will be one of those, but for today, I'm not. And I'm okay with that. I just enjoy I just enjoy the act of painting. Um, because it kind of pushes things out of your head whenever you have things like worries or stress or anything like that, right? It puts me in that zone. And when I go to my painting class, I like being around other people that are the same way. And We don't have to talk, socialize, but I think I like going to the classes because I like being around others that that also do that. And even at the end or maybe in the middle of the class, right? We walk around and we look at other people's paintings, and it's a good way to get feedback, right? For encouragement, or for somebody to say, oh yeah, why don't you try that way, right? But without feeling that pressure, right, that you need to perform. In my mind, I want the shark with odd shark teeth, kind of bloody, coming out of the water. Ooh, yeah, with a random leg or arm, maybe a swimmer, and then the word jaws. And oh, I can't wait to see that. That sounds so cool. But I hope it doesn't look too realistic to people, but some might want it that way. Yeah, I think I would be one of those people that would want to see it that way, Jed. But that's just me because I'm a little morbid, I'm a little weird, and I admit it. But that's okay. Um and I see that maybe you're a little bit that way too. And that's so super cool. I like that. I do. I do. I do. I like that about you. Okay, so this I gotta start covering this blue. So I'm really liking that I picked this blue as the underpainting, even though I'm covering it, because I'm liking how that blue is coming in between here, and it's making her glow. I know I'm gonna cover it more, but in as I've been reading books about color theory and painting, it says that it doesn't matter if you cover your underpainting, that the way back to science, I was don't remember everything, right? But the way that I understand it, that when light comes in, depends on the colors, that some of them penetrate through, and then some of them it can't, and then it reflects back, and when it reflects back it comes through those colors. So that's why artists can make effects using this type of technique on underpainting. If you select your color, um you know if you think about the colors that you select, you can do those type of effects. And I don't know, I want to say it's color magic, right? It's color magic. Okay, so then she's got some that are like this. Now I'm paying a little bit more attention at the direction that the fur is going. And that's how I'm gonna start painting it. So see, I'm painting this brown over that black because I know when I look at it here that there is black and light and brown in between there, but instead of trying to paint one strand next to each other at a time, I'm using the colors, right? And the way that I'm painting for it to, I'm not covering it all. So some of that black is still gonna peek through, or those lights, if I'm gonna be doing lights. When I was like super excited when the host picked that movie because it's on one of my faves. Oh yeah. It isn't that great when people pick your favorite things. That is a very good movie. I think the first one will always be my favorite. It will always be my favorite. And I remember sneaking into the living room when my mom wasn't watching to watch the movie behind her and try not to be caught. And I think at some point she just she just pretended that she didn't know that I was there. But then she would say, "If you watch it, you're gonna have nightmares." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I did. I did. Of course I did. But I wouldn't complain about it, so she would let me continue to watch the movies with her. With her. Okay, so I think I gotta bring in now some what do you call it? These are like not too, they're like chunky, not wispy. I think I gotta bring in lights again because over here. So this I'm gonna block it in, and I know that I'm gonna come in with lighter colors, right? So I'm gonna have that opportunity to make those changes, and it won't be so dark. But I do have to be careful because sometimes the lighter colors won't completely cover the dark stuff. The first one is my favorite. Yeah. Yes. That the first one is, right? Remember when the guy, when I forgot the name of the characters, but remember but the guy with the glasses, right? That he wasn't really believing, and then he's throwing out the, what do you call it, the chum, I think that's what they call it, the cut up fishes into the water, and he's grabbing and he's talking to the other guy, kind of like saying, I don't see anything, or something like that. And as he's throwing it out, he's looking the other way, looking at the guy, so he's not seeing the water anymore. And then and then you see the jaws come out, the face, and then I guess he hears it, right? Because he stops, and then he turns around, and then that's when he sees the giant shark head. That was the scariest part, I think, to see. And, the rest of the movie was super scary, but that was my favorite part. That he sneaks out, and you just see this big giant head trying to grab the chum. Super scary. All right, so I think I'm gonna go a little bit darker because this is super dark. But I think I gotta do some lines so that we kind of see her stuff over here. Okay, what time is it? Oh man, time flies. It's already 10. I'm gonna block some of this stuff here. I don't think I'm gonna finish her today, Jen, because I'm yapping too much. You gotta tell me, Jen, less talking, more painting. More painting, less talking. Stop yapping. Stop yapping. If I was being paid for this, I would be behind on my work. They'd probably fire me. They'd be like, you're not producing. All right, this is kind of like this. Let's block this out. All right, that's what I'm going to do. Like, she's got her little ears right here. Whoops, maybe I made it too big. That's all right. We can fix that later. And then over here, she's got this one because her ear is turned. So maybe I need a smaller brush now. My professor, my instructor, professor, my instructor always tells me to use big brushes rather than small ones until you can't anymore. So that's what I'm trying to do is use the small one. Okay. And then there's something like this right here. Okay, we're gonna have to do some fixing. All right. And then this is more dark. And then she's got like, all right, we're gonna put, we're gonna put, we're gonna have to start putting, we're gonna have to start putting, what do you call it? White over there. And the guy with the go with the what? Which guy? Yeah, we gotta start putting. See, she's got some black under here. All right, we're gonna put that and this right here, and then she's got some stuff like this. Da da da. Do do do. And then this right here, and then this right here, this right here, this right here, and then she's got like blip 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 blip. And then she's got her little nose right there, which you can hardly see, but it's there. So got to figure out a way. All right. Blip 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 right there. Blip 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 blip. And then this is super dark right there. Oh, the guy with the glasses is like, you guys, the shark's back for feeding time. Oh my God, yes. That one was. That one was. I gotta watch. Now you're gonna make me go watch the movie, Jen, which is a good thing because it is a very good movie. Is the actor still alive? Do you know? I wonder if he still is. I wonder if any of those are still alive. If they are still alive. He was a good actor. He was a really good actor. Very good actors. Who's your favorite actor, Jen? There's so many. I guess it all depends on the movie, right? Like, then he's got some right here. See, man, Jen, not that I'm not bragging, Jen. I am not, right? But you remember how she looked in the beginning? Like you said that she looks like she has a blanket. And I think that's what we always have to remember as artists is to trust the process and that there's always an ugly phase to everything and that sometimes it's a short ugly phase and sometimes it's long ugly phases. But I wasn't happy with her face when I put it down, but now as I'm layering the things and carving with the brush, right, layering it and making corrections, now she is starting to look like her. The sheriff, but all of the three guys. I don't know. Oh, you don't know if they're still there's don't know the sheriff, but all of the three guys. So all of the three guys except the sheriff are still alive. That's cool. I wonder what they went on to do other movies. I didn't, because it was well, I wasn't too old. I think it was around I wasn't too old when I watched it when I was a kid. But I didn't keep up with those artists, right? Because I was just a kid. Um, my mom and dad probably were the ones that uh, kept up with what they were doing. Whatever happened to these artists? Who knows? Okay. I don't know if I like that color. Maybe I need maybe a little blue. Sometimes we mix and see what are we gonna get if I mix this? What will happen? Okay, that kind of looks green. Let me put some more orange here. Oh yeah, that looks better. Much better. You can't see my palette, Jen, but it was starting to look a little suspicious. Yeah, there you go. Let me see. Let me do it this way. They would all be old because your was it was 50. Yes, you're right. We're all old at that time already. You're right. I guess I was trying to be um op- I don't know, optimistic that maybe they were still around. I don't know, Jen, because sometimes I feel that people back then looked a lot older than what they were really old, right? Because sometimes I follow some of the, you know, pages where people post about people in the 80s, people in the 90s, right? Especially during the time when I was in high school or even before, right? Like in the 60s or 70s. And they're like, if these were teenagers, and then you look at them and you're like, oh man, those teenagers looked like they were in their 30s when they were just teenagers. I don't know. That's just my impression. That's just my impression, right? I don't know. I could be full of it. I could be full of it, Jen. All right, I need to bring lighter colors here. Let me do it this way. I do need to bring in lighter colors. And then she's got some type of brown here. All right, let me do that. Well, it's not really. This one is lighter over here. Then she's got some lightness over here. Maybe a little bit over here. There. Definitely here. She had like a little M. And then these right here. And then over here, she had, maybe I need to color that. Let me make a lighter brown. Maybe put in some yellow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Sorry, you can't see my palette, but I'm getting there. Okay. Oh, that looks mustardy. We don't want mustard. We don't want mustard. Not mustard. Not mustard. We just want a. Uh-oh. My white is getting dry. We just want a tan. We want a tan. Oh, yeah, there's my tan. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Do you like, oh, yeah, that's the color. That's the color. Do do you like Matthew McConaughey? I do. I love him as an actor. Not like that kind of love. And then she's got a little right here, so we'll come back and put some extra details. It's just got to dry. Matthew McConaughey, he's a great actor. And and certain people age really well, and I think he is one of those people that is aging really well. But he probably can, because he needs to keep up his looks for Hollywood. If I had a job like that, I'd probably be keeping up with my looks too. Even though I do try, but I kind of gave up after I turned a certain age. All right, I am gonna need to do some fixing here with some um some darker colors, but that's okay. I just need to get some light stuff in there, and that's where layering comes, right? So we just gotta do some of this stuff here. Um, then she's got more up over here, and then she also has some over here, right here, and then right here. I think I gotta lighten this portion up. So see where we're doing, Jen? Now this light, like, we're not painting at all, is gonna give that illusion of fur. And then some of it comes like this. Mm. Mm. We need a lighter, much lighter, much lighter. Okay, she's light over here. Why did I do her so dark? She's not that dark over here. She's got like over here like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, we'll come back with other darker colors. I just gotta put some some light some light stuff over here. I should have put in lighter sooner rather than later, but that's all right. So I know it looks weird right now, Jen, but as we start putting more and more layers, they're gonna look like they're blended. And then she's light over here. Oh, I forgot over here. She's got light over here. How could I forget that lightness? And then over there. And then she's light over here too. And then she's light over here as well. Mhm. Like this, like this. Okay. I lost something over here. Now I gotta figure it out. She looks like she has a mohawk. She is looking like her. It is looking like her, right? Oh, I gotta look at that at the Insta. Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna push this because I have my iPad over here on my left side, and up above over here is my iPhone that's doing this over here. But let me look at your Insta. Oh, here we go. I missed three. Oh man, ooh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Jen. Ah, I love that. I hope your final one does look like that. I know it's just a sample, it's just your practice, but I hope you keep the majority that you're doing right there. That is awesome. Ooh, I can't wait until you do the rest. I can't wait to see your practice ones. Maybe you will do one, you'll do a short video of your process. That is pretty good. That's awesome. That is awesome, Jen. Oops, look, I was oohing and eyeing. My color was drying out here. I need more color. I hope you send pictures of your progress. I can't wait to see that final one. That is going to be so cool. Who cares if people don't really like that, Jen? If you like it, you do it. We can't be worried about, you know, trying to please others, right? We already, I mean, I know about being nice, etc., and all that stuff, right? But the things that we do should be because they bring us joy. And if that shark with the chomping on, what is it, the person's arm, or was it their leg? If that brings you joy, girl, you do that. You do that. Personally, I love it. But then who cares what I think? It's about what you feel, what you think. It's about what brings you joy. But anyways, if that is the way that you want it, then keep going at it. Keep going at it. You keep going. And I'm gonna be looking forward to that final one, or at least I want to say the in progress, because you could be thinking about one direction, right? You always like, oh, this is what my vision is, and then something else clicks, or you do something and then you're like, oh, I think I like this one better, and then sometimes it looks completely different than what you had set out to do, and that is okay too. All right. I don't know what I'm doing here. I mixed a color and now I don't know how to get it back. How did I mix that color? Was it this? I don't know. Oh well. Oh well. It's okay. It is okay. All right. What else does she have? She has like here, like a little triangle of light, but it's not going to be this light. She has some little specks, right? So that's all that I need to do right there. And then I'm gonna layer it with something else. But I need that. And then over here, I feel like this, right? We gotta cut in there. That's all right. We're gonna continue to work on it. She does look like she has a little mohawk. And then she's got some light tips over here. And that's what I need. That's what I need. That was the leg. that was awesome. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome, Jen. I hope you keep it. A leg or an arm, a head, because and here is she's light over here as well. All right. Now I think I'm gonna have to layer more. Here's maybe this one is a little bit darker. Mm. All right, Jen, you tell me when you gotta go to bed. Actually, I think probably I'm gonna stay another 30 minutes because it's 10:19 here in Chicago. And I'm gonna have to get up early for Father's Day tomorrow. Is my We're taking my brother to brunch. Then I gotta come back home, do some work. Oh, and then I'm gonna be doing the live stream with Lizzie Jean again. She invited me. So if you have time and you want to come by, you're more than welcome. Jen, you're always more than welcome. But I know that Mary streams tomorrow. I hope she does. I haven't been able to catch her a full stream with her because I've been so busy with work, and then I'm so tired, and I'm like, oh. But I did catch her stream the other day for a little bit, and she was doing her tatting. So I really like what she was making there. Um, but like I said, mm, I'm gonna be doing that with Lizzie Jean, and then maybe after that, then that'll be for me. That'll be it for the night for me, because I gotta get up early for Monday work. Darn Monday work. Darn Monday work. How about you, Jen? Do you when is a live stream with it, Lizzie? Um, she is goes live, I think. Good question. I better know what time before she's like, you didn't show up. Um, uh, I think she is live. Uh, it's 6 p.m. for me. So I think it's set because she's Eastern time. So she's an hour ahead. So she thinks 7 p.m. for her, and it's 6 p.m. for me. So for you, because you are Pacific, right? So you're like 2 hours behind. I know that darn Monday schedule. Um, so it's 4 p.m. for you. If I'm getting my math right. If I'm getting my math right. If I get my math right, that's what it is. So I don't know. She invited me to come. I'm not a regular part of her stream, but she said she likes having me, and so she invited me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Um because I think most people that join they are mixed media, so they do a lot of gel printing, um a lot of like Mary does her cards or ACTs. Maybe I'm probably gonna and not everybody is a paints um like I do, or you and me, right? That we like drawing or painting, right? I think that's if I'm getting correct. I think you are that type of artist that you like drawing and then coloring, with your color pencils or um or the markers. And but most of the crowd they identify they do a lot of mixed media. I guess kind of like Mary. But I like watching Mary because I do learn a lot from her, and I like it when she does her doodles. I'm like you. I like her doodle deck, and I wish she would do her doodle deck again. I like watching her. um, watching her create on her doodle deck. But so I don't know what I'm gonna do because Lizzie is mixed media artist. Um, but she does do a lot of drawing. Like she does some pretty cute characters. Yeah, your aunt painted. Yeah, I think we get it right from family. Um, I don't know who from my family really did this other than my dad. I know that he really wanted to get into it. He just, you know, he just he just never had the time, right? Because he had 5 kids to raise, and he got married. My parents got married, young, and they had 5 kids to raise. 5 brats. 5 brats. 5 brats to raise. So he didn't get to pursue his dream, I guess. But I do remember he tried doing oil painting, but my mom didn't let him because the chemicals, right? And too many kids around. And I get it, right? Because it is they are smelly. And so she was worried about the inhaling all those chemicals. And so she said nope. And so my dad gave it up. But I do remember him painting a few. He used to do a lot of like nighttime paintings. But I don't know. My mom didn't keep them. She was kind of mean throwing them out. They got separated, so she didn't want to keep anything of his. But I wish she had. I wish she had thought about the kids that would want to have his stuff. But oh well. It is what it is. It is what it is. So now I paint. Now I paint. So what did your aunt used to paint? Do you remember? Does anybody else in your family do art like you? You know what, Jen, if you're up for it, all kinds of things. Oh, she did all kinds of things. That's pretty cool. You know what we should do, Jen? We should do an exchange. Like I'll paint you something that you want, and then you make me a shark, a shark drawing with the leg. That would be awesome. Maybe I could try doing a painting. I'm not good like you. You got very a creative mind. I can copy something or see something and replicate it, but to do something without a reference and just out of my head, my imagination, it's hard for me to put it on paper. So seeing you is very I admire that because it's not easy for me. I wouldn't be able to do. I wouldn't even attempt it because I'd be like, I don't know what to do. I can't do this. And even if I try to find references, like to say, oh, maybe this or maybe that. I can't. I have to have the reference like this in front of me to do it. So you got some talent there, girl. That's some talent right there. And I admire that. All right. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, she is starting to look like herself, right? She is starting to look like Ligeia. Baby kitty. She's starting to look like my baby kitty. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me start painting here the inside. You know what? It needs some white. Whoops. And my cousin also painted flowers on something on the wall. That's pretty cool. So she does murals. Is she a mural? Is that how you pronounce it? Mural artist. She's a mural artist. Yeah, I need to paint the inside of her ear. It's looking weird to have it all blue. All right, I'm just gonna lay color in there. I know it's not the right one, but it needs some color in there. She needs color. Oops, I need to do something here. Mm, she has some stuff right here. All right. Okay. Yeah, she is starting to look like baby kitty. And then this is not that dark. It's lighter than what it looks like. Must be that blue that's making that darker. And I ran out of white. It dried out. There we go. That's the color. Oops, maybe that looks a little. That's all right. We'll just layer some more stuff. I just needed to lighten that up. And then over here, it's much lighter than this. This part is much lighter than what I've made it. No, just a small plaque that hangs on the wall. Oh, okay. You should post a picture if you got a picture her of her painting or her plaque. Hmm. All right, Jen. What do you think? I keep forgetting here the bottom. Keep forgetting the bottom. Keep forgetting the bottom. Keep forgetting the bottom. Don't forget. Don't forget. Now I gotta do the opposite way to look like her. There we go. Don't forget the bottom. Yeah, I need to do that. What do you think, Jen, so far? Give me your honest opinion. Where should I do more? I know here I need to put back that darkness in there and I need to work over here. And I think this portion too is much lighter, right? And I think here too, I need to work on carving or making her face more pronounced. I think it got lost, but that's okay. We can bring that back. And then I gotta paint those yellow eyes, because right now she looks like a zombie with blue eyes. That's what I think she looks like. But I think, Jen, I think that's all the time I have for tonight. If I wasn't getting up early to take my brother out for Father's Day, I'd probably stay here longer and try to get it to finished and done. It's still tacky, so I gotta leave it open to dry. Thanks, Jen. She does have a cute face. She was my baby kitty. I miss her. Even though I still have my other cat, and he is a cute, adorable little cat. She was my first cat, and she was my number one. She's always been my number one kitty. And that's why I paint, because it's art for Ligeia. Um, yeah, so Jen, I'm gonna call it a night, and I would say I would try to pick it up tomorrow, but I'm not. Not with taking my brother out. I still have to do some work for Monday. And then if I'm gonna join Lizzie's live stream, yeah, so it'll be 7 her time, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it'll still be a little bit late. I won't have time to. Oh yeah, maybe finish her on Lizzie's stream. You're right, right? Why do I have to do what I don't want to do, right? You're right. Then that's gonna be my project. I'm gonna finish her on Lizzie's stream. Perfect idea, Jen. So hopefully you are able to come to the stream tomorrow and watch me finish her up as much as I can. But I really enjoyed showing this to you, Jen. If you hadn't been asked, if you hadn't asked me, um, I would not have ever done this live stream or thought about continuing practicing. You know, eventually I think I would have, right? But you gave me a good excuse to bring out this book that I started to start as my practice painting book, and hopefully it's got 120 pages. I don't know how long it'll take me to fill up 120 pages, but I'm gonna try. This is gonna be my first one. And then this one, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna write on the back that this was for Jen. And oops, I got paint on this one. So if you ever want to do an exchange, Jen, 120. Hey, yeah, right, 120 cats. Do you have a cat? Send me a picture of your cat. I'll paint your cat. Or a dog if you have a dog. I've not done painted dogs, but why not? Why not start? So if you're ever up for it, doing some type of exchange, I can't wait to see your jaws. I'd be more than happy to. Um, it pushes me to continue to paint. Right? I think we all come up with excuses of why we got to do this, we got to do that, we're too busy. But look, I sat down with you for for a couple of hours, and it was a good practice. I did a lot in these 2 hours, and I really enjoyed chatting with you. Even though you're just on the chat and you can't talk back to me, but I enjoyed it. Maybe next time we can work it out so that if you're up for it, that's up to you. I can invite you to the stream. I think I can do that. And if you have a setup that you can set up your phone too, you can also show what you're doing, or you can just be there in the background just to talk. It's up to you. But I had a whole lot of fun, Jen, and thank you so much. And thanks for, for being my friend, my internet friend. So I'm gonna say good night, and hopefully I'll catch you on Lizzie's stream tomorrow, and I'm gonna finish her. I'm gonna finish her. So thanks again, Jen. Hope you have a good rest of your Saturday. Bye. Heart, heart.